Gina, tell me about, you reached out to us about you wanted to tell me about your experience with the XL app. And first of all, where are you at? Where are you from?
So funny, I'm from Indianapolis. That's my hometown. Yes. So I was so
Next town
excited.
in the house.
Yes. I was like,
Come
wait,
through.
Qatar is in my hometown. And then I went and I read a little about you. I was like, she's not exactly from there, but we're Indiana girls
Yes, we
together. So
are.
Indy's my hometown, but I actually live in Virginia. I live right outside of DC now. So love home, but I like being away too. So and I've been over here. I've lived here a total of about 11 years. Spent a little time in the middle. I was here 4 years. Went back to Indy for 5, and then now I've been back for 7. So on the East Coast, but I do try to keep in touch with home. And so thanks to you and your amazing app, I'm able to have a little bit more of a connection, even though my family is still there too. So.
Love it.
But interestingly, let me tell you how I found out about the app. I got it from, you're going to love this. I got it from my friend who lives in Atlanta. And
What?
we have a text string. So I hope you will love this. So we have a text string, and it's those of us who are on the text string are in Atlanta. I just say DC because most people don't know about my tiny little city. DC for me, Chicago, Gary, Indiana, Houston, Texas, Baltimore.
That's the group. That's where they're
And then
from.
now one of the ladies who's in Atlanta is about to move to Colorado. So that's our text string. So your app is clearly all over the place, but our little group, we're trying to take you all over the place.
Oh, I love that. So you heard about XL app from a friend who is in Atlanta.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And the deal is she heard about it from someone, and so she shared it with all of us. So it's not as though at that time that she got it, she wasn't a user in the moment. She sent it, and I was like, well, let me check this out. And as soon as I saw it, and I went, and I was like, oh, this lady in here looks like me before I grew these things out. I was like, oh, I need to check this out. This beautiful brown lady who's in the pictures, who
Our model,
she's
Amani, shout out
she's
to Amani.
gorgeous. Shout
Beautiful.
out to you, Amani, because as soon as I saw her, I was like, this is for me. And then I downloaded it, and I spent probably, it literally was middle of my workday like now. And I probably spent an hour, and I was like, well, I'm going to listen to this one. And then the music came up, and it was so soothing. And I was like, oh, this is fantastic. And then you started talking, and I was like, oh, yes, I'm going to do this breathing exercise. And it was fantastic. It was literally what I needed, Katara. And it's just been a super, it's 2020. I
It's
think we can just say that.
2020,
We all know
Gina.
exactly what that is.
Yeah,
So
it's
I don't
been
have to
a
tell
year.
you,
It's been
God.
a year.
But the app has just been, it's literally now just a part of my day. And so I look forward to it. It typically like pops on my phone about 9:03. So not that I'm eager or anything, but I can tell you what time it shows up, like the
My
daily notification.
notification.
Yes, I love it. I love, love, love it. And it's always, I don't know how clearly this is God inspired for you, but it literally, the notification always is exactly what I need that day.
Hmm.
It's just always the perfect thing. And so I'm like, oh my God, I have to reach out to this lady and just tell her, thank you, thank you, thank you. I feel like you made it for me. I'm personalizing it, and I'm owning it for me. And I
Oh,
only own the one that's in my phone, but I'm like,
oh,
thank you for making this. I wanted to connect with you and say thank you, because it's so personal. It so
hmm.
speaks to me. And clearly we as women of color, we have such a kinship, and we know what we need to hear from one another. So
Absolutely.
you have done something, you and your team have done some amazing work with the
Oh
app.
my
So I'm
gosh.
very grateful for you doing this and your wisdom in putting it together.
Oh my gosh. This is what the doctor ordered for me today. I needed to hear this. This is so good. And this came from a place of grief, a place of feeling the collective grief of our community this summer,
Yeah.
Spring and summer. Not that we don't know what happens in our community, right?
Right.
Police brutality, killings, systemic racism, microaggressions,
Mhm.
anti-Blackness. We know
Right.
these things exist,
Right.
but this spring they were exasperated because of
Mhm.
COVID. And
Mhm.
I am 48 years old, and I've never in my lifetime experienced this level of
Mhm.
grief, and I had a sense of hopelessness that I've never had
Yeah.
for my community in
Yeah.
a way that I'd never had it before.
Right.
And I started reaching for my own resources,
Mhm.
meditation apps,
Mhm.
and realized that there was such a huge disconnect. I was like,
Yeah.
do you not know that my community is hemorrhaging right now? Like, I need
Yeah.
something that's going to speak to me in real time.
Mhm.
And I just thought, oh my gosh, Black women especially are some of the most
Mhm.
marginalized
Right.
in our society, and we get left out of the equation, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times, even in social movements and
Mhm.
movements toward equality and equity, like, we're at the bottom of the barrel. And
Mhm.
when I say Black women, that includes trans, that
Right.
includes gender nonconforming, right?
Mhm.
LGBTQIA plus community,
Mhm.
like, that are women of color, those
Right.
gender identities oppressed by racism and misogyny, are
Mhm.
left at the bottom of the barrel. Not even at the bottom of the barrel. They're not even included in
Not
some of those
included at all. Yeah.
conversations. And so I
Mhm.
wanted it to be specific to us.
Mhm.
I wanted it to be by us and for us. And so
Right.
hearing you talk about your experience and how you feel like it was made just for you
I do.
is complete, I mean, like, literally it makes my heart sing, because that was the intent. The
Mhm.
intent was to reach you. It was
Yeah.
to reach Black women, brown
Mhm.
women who feel left out of the equation most of the time. And I
Right.
went reaching for these apps, and I realized, like, these are white spaces.
Yeah.
These are curated by white people.
Mhm.
And while there was a time that those apps worked for me,
Mhm.
in a moment of crisis with my community, it just wasn't anymore. And so
Yeah.
I really felt like I should create something, and we went to work. I mean, you should have seen us. It's me, my two daughters. So I don't know if you've
Yeah.
listened to everything, but my two daughters
Mhm.
are narrators on the app.
Yeah.
And we just went to work and made it happen. And I felt this sense of urgency to get it out
Mhm.
because of the anxiety, the stress, the trauma, the grief that our community was going through, specifically Black
Mhm.
women. And
Mhm.
I'm glad that we were able to get it out, and that you're using it, and you
Yes.
have it, and you heard about it from somebody from Atlanta.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. So, love it, and love that when you were just inspired, that you just said yes and you followed through and you said, I'm just going to do this and make this happen. And so, I feel like I am really a direct beneficiary of the feelings you were feeling, because they are so mutual for us, and that we all have been feeling this grief. And for me, I think the thing that the app has supported so much, and all of the modules, is just anxiety. I never recognized, I wouldn't necessarily say that I understood that I experience high anxiety. And just with all of the things that we've all dealt with this year, my anxiety has just been so high, and I've just really struggled with that. And even anxiety, and it's, I've struggled to sleep, and really just the breathing exercises within all of that, and the anxiety, and to your point, the grief that our community has experienced. The app has, you guys did such an amazing job, that you just kind of spoke to all of the things that we're experiencing right now. And so it's so timely, and I'm so excited to hear you say that you were feeling this and you said, I have to do something. So I
Mhm.
love that you did it, and you didn't just sit in the thought and the feeling, and you said, this, we're going to produce this, and you got fancy team together and made it happen. And by way of Atlanta, you have just been a part of, your vision has become a part of my daily existence. So much so, I share the app with my therapist. Funny. And we were working on some breathing exercises because I was telling her that my anxiety was just so high. And so I was like, listen, my girlfriend shared this app with me and it's been great. And I tried it for a week. And so I said, let me send it to you. You got to check this out. Literally the next week, and at that time we were meeting weekly, literally the next week, she was like, I sent it out to 100 people. So she sent it to all of her clients, as well as she's a therapist, and she sent it to a good portion of her therapist friends as well.
Mhm.
And I did reach out to her. So I don't know, in terms of thinking about hearing from people who
Yeah,
have used the app. And if you're wanting to get more testimonials, she is
yeah,
certainly open if you'd like to hear from a therapist perspective as to how she's incorporated it into her practice. So she said she'd be totally open to
definitely.
that if you're interested.
Absolutely would love to connect with her and love to hear about her experience and yeah, all the things. That's thank you for sharing it.
Absolutely. No, thank you for making it and making it available, and making it available right now, because
Yeah,
that's when we needed it.
we
And
needed
you
it.
you don't, you don't know what you need until you have it sometimes. And it's like, I really needed this.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just there. So it's just having those moments, and I can just sit and I'm like, okay, well, let me listen to this mantra. I haven't listened to this one yet. And it's
Yeah.
just the right message in the right moment. So I'm
Oh
very
my
grateful
God.
for your vision, and that you made it happen.
Ah, this was amazing. I am so glad you reached out. I needed this today. I really did. I created it because I needed it.
Yeah.
And I also felt this deeper connection to the
Hmm.
collective community that I
Yeah.
never felt before, that I
Hmm.
knew needed it.
Hmm.
And so it felt like my ancestors were like, you need to do this. They're just kind of
Yeah.
leading and guiding me. And I was trying to tap into my roots
Yeah.
and my heritage. And I really felt
Right.
I was doing it for me, but also feeling like there was this collective
Right.
delivery that I was going to be delivering it to. So thank you,
Yeah.
Gina. Oh my
You are
God,
welcome. I'm
for
so happy
letting
we
me
could find a few
know.
minutes. Yeah,
And
this
that you
was
would take
great.
the time to reach out and take the time to chat with me via Zoom and let me record this and share it
Hmm.
with folks. And I really, really appreciate you just taking the time. I can't wait to share this with my team and share this with
Yeah.
other people. And I'm glad that the app is a resource for you, because that's
Hmm.
really was my intent, for it to be a resource for
Hmm.
Black, Indigenous women of color to
Yeah.
manage their anxiety, their stress, their trauma. Because if
Hmm.
we don't get that out of our bodies, it does make us sick. There
Yeah.
is literally a science behind it. Like, we have to get that anxiety and stress and out of our bodies. Systemic
Hmm.
racism is going to be out there,
Yep.
right?
Hmm.
Those microaggressions, anti-Blackness, they're out
Absolutely.
there. And
Absolutely.
we can't dismantle that because it's not our
Hmm.
jobs to, right? It's the
Right.
white community's job to do
Yeah.
that.
Right.
But we can find power in our
Right.
breath.
Hmm.
And I'm glad that Exhale is a resource that's giving you an opportunity to connect back to your breath. You're a
Absolutely.
phenomenal woman. In this little bit of time that we've shared, I can tell you are a phenomenal woman. And I appreciate you. I appreciate you reaching out and taking the time.